Welcome to the Nerd Corner, the series on the internet where we like to nerd out. I am Bradley, better known as Everyday Geek. This is my good friend this is my good friend Cooper, better known as Force. And this is the first official episode of Nerd One of the Nerd Corner after the big rebrand. It's a big one, isn't it?
Really
Finally,
big. Yeah.
finally a rebrand, and I think we're starting off at
It's
episode
legit
one.
now. It's
Yeah,
legit now.
we're going legit here. We're going to do this properly. We're going
Enough
to do
time
this
has
seriously.
passed. My shoulders are healed. We're good. We're good. We're ready. And we got some fun stuff to talk about today. The Doomsday trailer has finally dropped. We thought long ago that this was going to drop during like the Super Bowl times, and we got nothing. We got nothing until now. And we have a lot to talk about. So if you're ready for it,
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Stay tuned and watch. Stay tuned and watch.
This is a big way to start the first official episode. We couldn't think of a bigger way to start than with Doomsday.
This is a big first episode, I think.
Yeah, we were both surprised when the Doomsday trailer dropped because we thought we would get it at Comic-Con this weekend, San Diego Comic-Con, which is when most of these stuff are revealed and announced. So the fact we got it just dropped randomly in the middle of the week was a huge surprise to us. So we were caught a little off guard by it when it dropped. We didn't have quick time to prepare things to discuss, but we've got a list of things to talk about, theorize, speculate, all that good stuff. So we should start off with the very first topic, and probably one of the biggest talking points of the trailer, and that is the return of Steve Rogers. Now, we already knew Steve Rogers was coming back, because you did say we didn't get anything at Super Bowl. Technically, we did. We got those four
we did
mini
get the
trailers
snippets that were leading up to the Super Bowl when House of Ashes was in theaters. Is that what? No, Fire and Ash.
No.
What am I saying? Fire and Ash was in theaters.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got these snippets during the release of Avatar: Fire and Ash. We saw quite a bit. They revealed quite a bit. And we've just been waiting very patiently ever since. And one of those big reveals that they did was Steve Rogers. Immediate it's like, how's this gonna go?
It's very interesting to see what they'll do with Steve Rogers, because it's like, yeah, okay, Steve Rogers, the first Captain America, it's nice seeing him again. But I'm also thinking, like, what does Steve Rogers really bring? Because Steve Rogers is good at two things. Because of two things. He can lift Mjolnir, but we know Thor can do that already. And he's a super soldier. I mean, between John Walker, Red Guardian, Bucky Barnes, we got a fair share of super soldiers already on the team. And it's not like we need another Captain America, because we got Captain America, Sam Wilson. So what's the reasoning behind Steve Rogers specifically coming back, and what's his involvement in basically the multiversal shenanigans that we're going to face?
I have a feeling, and this is heavy speculation. I saw a theory online where people thought that the Steve Rogers with the long hair that we saw in the trailer, I think the one that we saw of him in the house, with Peggy, stuff like that, with his kid, that's probably the real Steve Rogers from back then. There's a theory going around right now of the Steve Rogers in the film with the long hair, not the one that we saw in the first teaser where it's him holding his kid, holding up the Captain America suit. That's the real Steve. The one in the trailer with the longer hair and the beard, that is speculated currently to be Loki. That maybe that's not actually Steve Rogers. Which, if they did that, I was like, oh, that could be kind of cool. It could be a way to reintroduce Loki to the entirety of the Avengers, stuff like that. But also, it's just kind of it's like, how are they gonna make this work? Like, why would he turn into Steve Rogers? Why is this such a big deal? And even if it's all true, how the hell is he picking up Mjolnir?
There is another theory that I've seen about Steve Rogers, in that, again, you can make an argument there's this two Steve Rogers, one from the teaser trailer that looks like the classic Steve Rogers that we know, with like the clean hair, the clean shaved, all that, and then this one, which has a beard, longer hair, looks more like when he was on the run during Infinity War and Endgame time.
Yeah.
There is a theory that this Steve Rogers that we see, because this film's going to be dealing with the multiverse, that this Steve Rogers is actually Captain Hydra from the comics. Now, do you know who Captain Hydra is?
Yes.
Okay. For the people who may be listening and don't know, the very, very basic rundown of Captain Hydra is during the comics, specifically leading up to the setup of Secret Empire, the big comic event of 2016. Funny enough, took place the year after Secret Wars, which came out in 2015. There was this cosmic cube that altered reality and made it so Steve Rogers was actually a sleeper Hydra agent all this time. That's the very, very basic stuff of it. If you want the full-on, in-depth looking at it, I would recommend reading Secret Empire. That's the whole story of it. If you want to get into comics, that's where you start. But that's the very basics of what you need to know.
Run.
Yeah, that's the very basics of what you need to know about the character and who Captain Hydra is. And they did actually pay a reference to this Captain Hydra in Endgame when you had the elevator scene where Steve Rogers tricks the Hydra agents to believing he's also a Hydra agent. He does the Hail Hydra, which was a very big moment in the comics, a very controversial moment in the comics, but it was a fun little nod reference to that.
Yeah.
Now people are wondering, like, could this be Captain Hydra? Instead of doing the whole cosmic cube setup and doing it that way, we'll just, say from another reality. Because this film's dealing with the multiverse. We're going to see probably a ton of different universes. It's just easier to say he's come from a universe where, he was a secret Hydra agent this whole time. That may be a possibility. But do you think Marvel would do that? Do you think they would do the whole Captain Hydra thing?
I feel like they would, but I feel like the timing of when you think that they're doing it is just a little off, because I don't think as a way to make, the multiverse a big deal and, make it a big deal that RDJ is playing Doctor Doom while also having the X-Men come in, stuff like that. I think it's a little bit much if they're going to throw in Captain Hydra, just because it's like, it's like a bit much, isn't it? Like, there's just like, I feel like there's just too much going on at that point. We already have a pretty big cast of characters that we have to make interact for the first time. And then trying to throw in a fourth plot line in the midst of that is probably going to be a little difficult. So as cool as it would be to see Captain Hydra, I think I would totally be down for it. I think it'd be very cool to have him appear in the MCU in some fashion. I don't think now would be a good time for it.
I think the reason why people are theorizing that he's going to be Captain Hydra is throughout the film, you think he's helping everyone, and then that's going to be the big twist at the end. Now, I don't necessarily know if they will do that. I guess I can see where people are coming from, but I am wanting to know, like, we saw this, why are they bringing Steve Rogers back? They have to bring him back for some reason. I don't want to say, like, obviously, we kind of can guess the real-life reason for it is because Marvel, well, they've not been doing terribly. They haven't been doing, like reception-wise, they haven't been doing the best.
They haven't been
recently.
doing the numbers that they used to do. It's like they had to pull out some big swings. Yeah. So their best method was like, we already have RDJ, we already have Hemsworth. Let's bring in Evans. That's probably what their deciding factor was. I do think with Steve Rogers, if it is the real Steve Rogers, I hope that they focus on the fact that he's not Captain America anymore. I hope he is kind of just Steve, because I want Sam Wilson to be Captain America. I want him to stay Captain America. The mantle is passed. He has the shield. Steve can have Mjolnir. Because Thor has Stormbreaker now. So it only makes sense, I think, to me. It only makes sense.
Funny enough, I was going to mention this. One of my biggest worries with them bringing back Steve Rogers was worrying if it might overshadow Sam Wilson as Captain America. Now, I don't think the film would have Sam Wilson pass the shield back to Steve Rogers. I think that would be totally ridiculous. I would not want that. Sam Wilson is Captain America. End of story. But even with him still being Captain America in this film, you're bringing back the first Captain America, the OG Captain America that we've grown up with. That's still going to overshadow him a bit. And I also think that Marvel have really dropped the ball when it comes to Sam Wilson as Captain America. Because really, what have we had of him? Because we had Endgame 2019, Sam gets a shield. We're like, oh, let's go. Sam Wilson's now going to become Captain America. But then what happened?
But then he's hesitant. He hands a shield to the museum, but then they took the shield and gave it to John Walker.
But it's not even just that.
And the entire plot of Falcon and Winter Soldier happened.
Yeah. But it's not even just that. It's just the fact that from actual real life point of perspective, like what we had of Sam Wilson's Captain America since, we had one TV show where he wasn't even Captain America until the final episode. And then we've had one movie which was dropped at the beginning of the year. In the same year, keep in mind,
and an appearance on a cruise ship video.
Yeah. But, like, other than that, like, compared to what Steve Rogers had when he was the first Avenger in 2011, the Avengers in 2012, and then the Winter Soldier in 2014. In the span of, like, 3 years, he had 2 films and a major Avengers film. Sam Wilson's had what? A TV show, I understand. I understand it was filmed during COVID as well, so there were obviously difficulties filming. But then I feel like we should have had maybe 2 Captain America films by now. Maybe like one in 20. I'm not going to say rush out Captain America films for the sake of it. Obviously, take your time with the story, with the plot. I want good films, don't get me wrong. But we
Yeah.
really should have seen more of Sam Wilson as it's Captain America. He's like the biggest
Captain
names in
America
Marvel.
is I think I'm just gonna say, and Geeky, you're gonna kill me for saying this. We probably spent too much time with Red Guardian and John Walker. You know, Red Guardian was in 2 films, Black Widow and Thunderbolts since Endgame. And he's like Russian Captain America. But then there's also John Walker. He was Captain America longer. Well, I guess Captain America
Yeah.
longer than Sam Wilson, because U.S. Agent is a clone of pretty much a
Yeah.
clone of Captain America.
He's
So it's
discount
like,
Captain America.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's just like a little strange that we spent so little time with the real Cap. And I'll be honest, I liked the plot of Brave New World. I thought the plot was great. Execution's a little weird though. Um and we got a very mediocre, not very high stakes, not very important film to the universe. It didn't feel like it set up anything relevant currently. But at the same time, we had Thunderbolts. That immediately set up the new Avengers, and that kind of set up it kind of set up Doomsday. So it's just weird that they're spending more time with the secondary versions of the main, important heroes rather than the person holding the mantle of the important hero. It makes way too little sense for them to do that, which is probably why I'm a little skeptical about how they're going to handle this.
Yeah. You know, it's actually really funny you mentioned John Walker. For those of you who don't know, John Walker is one of my favorite anti-heroes in the MCU right now. Yes, he's an arsehole, but I just love him. But the thing crazy is, he's had the same amount of appearances as Sam Wilson as Captain America, because he was also in the Falcon Winter Soldier. That was the story of that. And then they both had a film out in the same year. Granted, yes, Sam Wilson was a standard Captain America film, whereas John Walker was in the Thunderbolts. But the fact that the discount Captain America and the actual Captain America have had the same amount of appearances in this time, it's like, that's kind of worrying. Like I said, I think we should have had way more Sam Wilson Captain America films by now. And I was like, okay, I know he's going to be Captain America in this. He's going to be leading the Avengers. There's no doubt about that. But even still, you don't need to bring Steve Rogers into this just for the sake of it. Because, like I said, Steve Rogers hopefully won't be Captain America. They won't do anything like that. I don't want to see him suited up as Captain America in any way. If anything, I wouldn't mind if we saw him as Nomad. But if they have to have Steve Rogers in the film, obviously. But like I said, I'm worried that Steve Rogers might overshadow Sam Wilson being there, his presence. Because like I said, this is the first Avengers film with Sam as Cap, and now you already got the old guy back.
Yeah.
So
I hope what they do with Cap is similar to what they did with Hawkeye in Endgame, where he wasn't Hawkeye, he was Ronin. I think it would be cool to see Cap just be Nomad. Or, and I'm just saying this, if it is just Loki, I'm also cool with that. Because that'd be a very Loki way to slither his way into the action and kind of be there front and center. Obviously he cares because he's, the protector of the timeline. But he needed a way to do it, and Doom is the biggest threat. And I feel like him pretending to be Captain America, like he did in the Dark World, I think I'd be okay with that. If Loki was Steve Rogers, I'd be okay with that. But anyways, speaking of Loki,
yeah,
I have a big question regarding Loki in this film, because we did get some stills of him. We did get a couple of shots. We saw a shot of Loki in his TVA uniform. We didn't see him one time in his God of Time fit, but we also saw like an ID card with it. And it's like, I thought he had to sit on that throne. I thought he had to guard the timeline like that. Why is he back in the TVA? Why is he in his
Yeah,
TVA uniform? I thought he had to make the biggest sacrifice ever, but then he just it's like what brought him back? Like
it is a
how did Doom lead to Loki ending up back in his TVA uniform?
it is a really interesting question because obviously, like I said, at the end of Loki season 2, the last we saw of Loki, or the Loki that we knew from that series, he was holding the multiverse together. That was his great purpose, shall we say. That was his big, I guess, sacrifice in a way of him holding the multiverse together. So it brings the question now, why is he just in just the casual TVA uniform that we saw him for most of the Loki series? We were discussing this a little bit beforehand off camera, but could it be this Loki isn't the same Loki from the TV series? Now, the reason why we mention that is because technically the Loki in the TV series isn't the Loki from the main universe. It's an alternate branch timeline version of Loki that
Mhm.
escaped after the events of the first Avengers film. So, is maybe after the events, did they get another Loki in? Because we've shown that in the multiverse, infinite number of possibilities, some variants can look very different. Even we saw in the first Loki series, we had, Crocodile Loki and Kid Loki and all the other Lokis. But we also seen that some Lokis can look exactly the same. So,
Yeah.
is this Loki another Loki? Or is this the same Loki that we saw at the end of season 2 holding the multiverse together? But if the question is, if it's the same Loki, why is he back? Or how is he just casually back? Like, hey everyone, I'm back.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I'm honestly like just very I'm just confused. That's really it. Whatever they're doing, I'm all for it. I think Loki has had one of the most important appearances and probably one of the best appearances and best presence during phase 4 and 5. I'm completely cool with him being a main part of the Avengers, but I need these answers. I need them. It's like he's on the throne. Why is he off the throne? Why is he back in the TVA? Is he Steve Rogers? Like there's just so much. There's just so much with this film. It's like we know nothing about the plot. It's like
It
what the fuck?
is it is really interesting though with a character like Loki. He is the god of mischief after all. But you could go like a lot of directions with Loki because Loki started obviously out as a villain in the early days of the Marvel, but then he's become like a hero. I mean, he sacrifices it. Well, he didn't sacrifice himself per se at the in Infinity War, sorry, in the opening, but he did trick Thanos into being attacked by the Hulk. He refused to give it the Cosmic Cube. He didn't betray Thor, betray the Hulk or anyone. And obviously, then in the Loki TV series, even though this is a variant of Loki, we saw him go on this growth, this journey of becoming like an actual hero in a way. And at the end, he does his big sacrifice, saving himself for the multiverse. But if this is now another variant of Loki, you could go in any direction. You can have a Loki that's very good, a Loki that's very bad. I feel like I don't think they'll go down the bad route because they could be like, yeah, it's a different Loki. It's not the same one that sacrificed himself. Because again, infinite universes, infinite possibilities. But I do think it would be a bit of a slap in the face to some Marvel fans if it was, another evil Loki after we've spent so many years of Loki going on this journey of redemption. So,
Yeah,
but it is instant. It does leave the possibilities open out there. Like, you could go really anywhere with this Loki.
you really could. I think Loki is definitely the oddball within the entirety of the cast for this film. He's the one that feels very out of place. I think he's our big heavy hitter for this film. And I'm all for it. I'm all
Do
for it.
you,
Loki is fucking sick.
do you think the Loki from the TV series, the one that's holding the universes together, realizes something is happening, these incursions, these worlds colliding, these universes colliding, and he
Absolutely.
and he asks for another Loki for help because he can't do it because, like I said, holding the universe
Mhm.
together. But I know it's a bit cheap, but I'm just trying to think of what they could be doing.
I don't know. I thing is I don't know about that because it's like what would really be the point of bringing in a second Loki when I think they're just going to find a way to get Loki off the throne and into the fight, which could be cool. I want to see what new Loki can do. I want to see him in his God of Time fit, just doing the strings or whatever he needs to do to beat the shit out of people. Like I think it'd just be so much more interesting if it was the Loki that we know, or at least the Loki we know now,
from the
and
TV
not
series.
just like a random,
Loki.
not a random Loki that we've never met before.
It'd be really interesting to see. Like we genuinely have no idea. We just know Loki's back for some reason. I'm happy. I like Loki. I love Tom Hiddleston. He's fantastic. It's gonna be really interesting to see what they'll do with him with this amazing cast. And speaking of an amazing cast, there is a shot in the trailer where we do see everyone gathered at the new Avengers Tower,
Ooh,
which
yeah.
brings us all the question: why is everyone there? What do we know is happening? Because we know from the Thunderbolts, the post-credit scene where we had the new Avengers, obviously in the tower. They're looking at a screen, and we see the Fantastic Four ship coming in, which we now know probably contains the Fantastic Four, obviously, and Thor, and possibly even Steve Rogers, I'm guessing. But why does the Fantastic Four ship go to the new Avengers Tower? What is Sam Wilson, Ant-Man, and the new Falcon doing at Avengers Tower? Because they didn't come with the Fantastic Four. So would they have an illegal meeting? Because we know there's some legal problems between the new Avengers using the name Avengers. It's really interesting to see why is everyone there.
What I can only assume is happening is the scene from Thunderbolts happens. It's like, oh, there's big space crashes, blah blah blah. Oh, look, Fantastic Four ship. I'm guessing we'll then cut to the Fantastic Four running to Thor, probably telling him about Doom, and Thor probably at this point maybe has like a vision or something about Doom. Could be cool. But we then probably will cut to Thor gathering up the current real strong Avengers who should be the Avengers. And then they're like, fuck, we should probably go meet with the other Avengers. And that's probably where this big meeting happens, because they probably need all the help that they can get. And unfortunately, that means the guys that can punch and shoot.
Yeah. I love those guys who can punch and shoot. They're my new
I
favorite
love
team.
them. I love them. I will still say, currently, I'm more excited to see more of the Thunderbolts than the real Avengers.
I'm with
Is
you
that
on that.
great?
No, I'm with you.
That's not crazy to say.
No.
We got so attached to these characters. Some of them are probably gonna die. Let's be honest. Some of them are probably gonna die. But
I mean, it's not like any of the Thunderbolts cast have been signed onto a major DC project anytime soon.
this is a fair point. We're probably losing Red Guardian, aren't we?
Yeah, Red Guardian, the guy who's going to be playing Two-Face and Batman.
What?
Sebastian Stan, he's in the new Batman.
Oh, that's right.
That was the joke I was going with.
No. I forgot about that because it's like David Harbour is also Frankenstein. So
I didn't know that.
You didn't watch Creature Commandos, so
sorry.
Which you should. It's a fun show. It's a fun show. I won't lie, but it's animated, which is not bad.
No, I don't mind animated stuff.
But yeah, I think we're gonna have this big, huge meeting. It's probably gonna just be like, we need all the help that we can get, and like, god damn it, we got to reach out to these idiots.
Those idiots that I love to bits. You know what's gonna be interesting though, because I'm wondering though. I can't remember the exact words that Thor says. He does like the speech, but the implication of Thor's speech that he's saying to the new Avengers, to the current Avengers, to the Fantastic Four, because keep in mind, Fantastic Four don't know anyone here apart from Thor. These are all new meeting. Sam Wilson and Bucky. Sam Wilson has a problem with the new Avengers. New Avengers probably have a problem with Sam Wilson because of the whole name rights. And it seems like Thor is trying to gather everyone together as like a peace treaty. Committee, like by the end we will all be brothers and sisters and all that with his speech. And he also mentioned the fact that I have fought with people stronger and they have died. So if we're all divided, like another Civil War situation, we don't stand a chance. We need to like basically all work as a team. But I think it's gonna be really interesting. I'm thinking I imagine what could happen is, obviously I'm just trying to protect. The scene is somehow the Thunderbolts able to reach out to this new ship and tell him, hey, no, come to the tower. Sam Wilson also gets wind of this new ship and realizing it's going to the Avengers Tower, and if this is a major space crisis, I need to be involved in this. So he shows up with Taurus and Ant-Man. I don't know how Ant-Man got there. Maybe he got a
Oh
scooter.
yeah.
And
I
I'm
mean,
thinking,
I think at this point, when when Ross told Sam to make the Avengers, he got the actual Avengers that we have now:
yeah,
Shuri, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi,
yeah.
etc.
And I'm thinking when they at that scene, then the new Avengers, aside from Bucky, is gonna be like, well, what you're doing here? And it's like this is basically, and there's gonna be tension. I can definitely imagine Elena maybe saying some stuff, or Red Guardian saying this dumb thing. You're legit this man, Sam Wilson. We are real Avengers. Blah blah blah. In his old Russian accent. Some comments probably about, I don't know, like John Walker or something because he murdered the guy with a shield. You know, like
Mhm.
back and forth. The Avengers come out, and then it's like for us to bring everyone together. Look, we may have issues with each other, but if we don't do this now, we are all dead.
Yeah.
Keep in mind as well, we don't see it, but I imagine for one of the shots is Steve Rogers probably is going to be in the scene. It does look like we see him walking off the ship with Thor and the Fantastic Four as well. It does seem like it. You can't see it from one shot where you can see Sam, Bucky, and Ant-Man all looking at someone, and it
Yeah.
has to be Steve Rogers.
If that does happen, if he is in that room with them, which I don't, I honestly, he probably is. Let's be honest. At this point, he probably is. This is the big meeting. I think he'd be
Yeah.
there. I really am curious to see how everyone will react to it, especially people like, just for the jokes. I want to see how Red Guardian interacts with them. For just kind of the awkwardness, I want to see John Walker interact with them. I want to see how how Sam reacts to him, how Bucky, like I need to see the reactions from everyone to Steve
It's
coming back.
it's gonna be a big thing. I know we talked about Steve already, but it's like, okay, this is if he's arriving now, and this is the first time everyone's been told about him. Because obviously the Fantastic Four don't have a connection, but everyone else in the room, in some way, shape, or form, is either know Steve Rogers, has some kind of connection with Steve Rogers, or has personally met Steve Rogers. And and most have worked beside him as well. So it's like it's gonna be like a really instant reaction. I really hope. I mentioned obviously John Walker's one of my favorite anti-heroes, so I really interested to see how his perception of like meeting Steve Rogers and how Steve Rogers will react. Chances are they may not even get any interaction, but I imagine it's gonna be like awkward. Like, who are you? And like, I'm the guy that replaced you. No, that was Sam. Blah 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 blah. Blah.
Yeah.
It's like really insane. Oh, he's by the way. This is John. He's the guy who murdered someone with your shield.
Oh yeah, this is John Walker. The
Kind
cat
of a
chasing
dick.
and using the shield. What?
I could totally see Steve Rogers being the type of guy to not even hate John Walker, just kind of understand, like not like be like, hey, we're best buds, but in the comics they kind of have like this weird level of respect, but also constantly at each other. Like I wouldn't say they're buddies, but there's some kind of mutual respect between them in the comics, and I hope we'll get that a little bit in
I hope
tiny
so.
bits in the show. I don't want them to
I
just
think it'll still be like John Walker is still a joke, but it's also going to be like he still has respect for Cap because he always has. He's always had respect
yeah
for whoever's in the Captain America mantle. He's always had respect for, especially Steve. He's always wanted to be like, I don't want to be Steve. Steve was his own thing. I don't want to hurt his legacy. Please let me try. It's like I want to see what happens between them because
yeah
I think he's really gonna either fanboy or he's going to be like very loyal to him.
yeah. I do think that could you if it is, but can you imagine if it is Loki dressed up as Steve Rogers meeting US agent? The shenanigans.
He's like,
That one.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, whatever. Do you know what I want to see everyone's reacting to? Everyone's talking about them reacting to Steve Rogers, and I get that. I want to see how the new Avengers and Sam Wilson's team react to the Thing walking out. Because obviously he's a big pile of rocks.
Yeah, probably like it'd be like, what the fuck? Um,
I'm hoping there's
but
something
yeah,
that we get.
I kind of want to see what leads them to the X-Men universe. Like, are they going to be like following Doom there? Are they going to be like what's the deal? Why are they there? And why are they fighting? Why are the Avengers fighting the X-Men?
Yeah, that is actually a very good interesting point. Why are the Avengers fighting the X-Men? What's the story there? Now, I know
Yeah.
in the comics there was the whole Avengers vs X-Men story arc, but I don't think they're doing this. I think if they were doing Avengers vs X-Men, that'd be a big film way later in the universe when we get the X-Men properly in the MCU and a good few years of them established. So it's going to be really interesting to see why they're fighting out. I think there has to be some kind of like misunderstanding. Like, do the Avengers think the X-Men are working for Doom, and vice versa, the X-Men think the Avengers are working for Doom?
It's like the scene from Infinity War where they thought the Guardians were working with Thanos and the Guardians thought the Avengers were working for Thanos.
Yeah.
So they started fighting each other. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's something short. Maybe it's like a little fight scene. But with how many shots we see of them fighting, it's like, when are they going to realize in this film that they're on the same team? Is this fight going to happen, or is like, are they just going to use this as a time to just, oh, you've missed the X-Men, here they are, or are they going to actually be like, they're going to scrap a little bit, have a little bit of fan service, you know, see some characters fight against each other, like fucking Gambit versus Shang-Chi. I'm really excited to see what happens there. You know, Nightcrawler versus Fantastic. It's like, they're going to probably do a little bit of fan service there, but I do hope that at the end of it, it's like, we're on the same team, blah, blah, blah. But then that could probably lead into some big thing with the X-Men. Maybe it'll explain why fucking Cyclops is just breaking down on the floor using his beams, looking like he's in such a despair. It's like, is the fight going to lead to that scene, or is something else in the middle of that you know has to do with Dune? Which I assume it's option 2. But
I think with the whole fight sequence, the Avengers vs X-Men, I think it's going to be only a short scene. I think the Shang-Chi against Gambit, you mentioned Fantastic Four against Nightcrawler because that was leaked by Alan Cumming, wasn't it? Who leaked that?
by the man himself.
Yeah. We also saw in the trailer Mystique against Yelena. I think all these fights are going to be happening.
It's going to be fun, I think.
I think all these fights are going to be happening at the exact same time. It's going to be like one Avenger against another. So I imagine then I can see Cyclops going up against Captain America, Sam Wilson, because I can see him using his shield to like block the laser beams.
Maybe it's like Beast versus Thing.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think Beast actually would be in with the other group because the teams seem to be divided.
Oh,
we'll talk about
right.
that. We'll talk about that a bit later on. But I think there'll be some kind of like battle. I can imagine Professor X using his like, you know, his mind powers, putting messages in everyone's head saying, "Stop this right now."
Yeah, because the fight is very obviously in the X-Manor.
Yeah. It is really interesting to note, though, that the only things we've seen of the X-Men from so far from the trailers have all been in this one scene or outside the X-Men mansion. We don't see much of them anywhere else. We don't even see them in different universes. So I think the X-Men won't even be into, like, not necessarily ending of the film, but I imagine the third act they'll be introduced where the Avengers go to the X-Men universe, and that's where we'll get the introduction of them.
Mm-hmm.
The rumored runtime of the film is about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Obviously, that's not. I don't think that's a confirmation. I think that's just speculated rumored runtime
I
right
hope
now.
it's that long.
Yeah.
I hope they're gonna have a lot to fit in.
If it is kind of that runtime, I don't imagine we'll see the X-Men until maybe even the 2 hour mark when we get into the second half.
I wouldn't really say it's gonna be that far. I feel like they still got plenty of time.
Maybe an hour and a half. Maybe an hour and a half into the film. Then should we say?
Probably about an hour and a half.
I think the X-Men will definitely be more second half. I think first half of the film is going to be all just the Avengers dealing with the shenanigans, whatever, and then the X-Men will join in later of the second act. And I imagine that's where the final scene will end up being at the X-Men Manor, the big battle. There was a leaked scene, which I don't really want to talk about because leaks are leaks. They could be easily fixed, especially with AI these days. They're so easily fixed. I don't really want to talk about it.
We also probably shouldn't talk about it just in case it gets the video taken down.
Yeah,
we don't really want to end up doing that.
Yeah, we don't. Listen, we're just starting our careers.
I did see a little bit of it. I tried to avoid it like the plague. I'd be interested. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it seems a little interesting from what little I saw.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see because I do imagine why the Avengers vs X-Men. I think you said it perfectly. I think it's gonna be fan service because we have the X-Men and the Avengers, probably two of the most iconic superhero groups out there in Marvel. At least, obviously, you can from the Justice League and from like DC and whatnot. But obviously, in terms of Marvel, it's the X-Men, the Avengers, and obviously the Fantastic Four. So to have the Avengers vs X-Men, a bit of fan service, a fight sequence, bit of a misunderstanding. We're thinking, no, you're the bad guys, whatever. Kind of like similar to what it was, sorry to bring us back to the Thunderbolts, but the beginning of the Thunderbolts were in the vault. And it's like, wait, no, you sent me, something like that. Obviously not the same type of thing, but definitely kind of like a misunderstanding as to why they're all attacking each other.
Yeah. I actually have a couple of questions about the X-Men themselves, since we're on this topic. It's like certain specifications about specific characters. Like, I think it's very heavily hinted that the X-Men are the same X-Men that were probably hinted at the end of the Marvels. Like the Beast, it's probably going to be the same Beast in this film.
Yeah.
We'll probably see Monica and Maria Rambeau in this film in some capacity. We'll probably see Professor X read a pop-up book with his mind. Will
That's a little inside joke for the viewers.
we'll we'll probably honestly, you know, what's the deal with Gambit? It's like
That's the big one.
That's the big one. Because last time we saw Gambit, who is Channing Tatum, who is also Channing Tatum in this film, it's like,
Are you the same Gambit from Deadpool, is what we're wondering.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing here? Obviously, like, we saw the short clip posted by Ryan Reynolds of, you know, Gambit looking into a portal, like a Doctor Strange portal, probably escaping into this X-Men universe. It's like, but how did he end up here exactly? And if he's in this universe, is Deadpool and Wolverine in this universe as well? Is this no? This can't be the same Wolverine's universe because all his X-Men are dead. That's right.
Yeah.
But it's like, how is he even there in the first place? There's a lot of explanation we're gonna need.
Yeah, it is very interesting that you mentioned that scene posted by Ryan with the portal. It's like, because one thing I've noticed, Doctor Strange, we have not seen be announced this film, haven't seen him in anything, so he might not be in this film. So I'm wondering, is it possible that that scene could potentially tie into this movie in some way? Was that, or was this Gambit always part of this specific X-Men universe?
Maybe. See, the thing is with Doctor Strange, here's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going to end up in this film, and it's probably going to lead to the creation of Battle World. And in between both films, we're probably going to get the Doctor Strange 3 film to expand out on that, and then he's going to appear in that last film. So, there's a lot that we can speculate about Doctor Strange's involvement in the MCU right now, but it's like, I doubt he's going to be in Doomsday for a myriad of reasons, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem likely, but with Gambit, it's like, did they just need to fill that last slot? Did they just need to fill that last slot and be like, everyone loved Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's find a way to incorporate him. And they're like, might as well put him in Doomsday. It's like, big leap from a Deadpool film to Doomsday, I think.
It is really interesting to note that specifically with Gambit, and if they bring them from this X-Men universe, what we've seen in the X-Men, it's not a whole lot of X-Men, it's only about 5 or 6 X-Men, if I'm right. So it's not really a whole lot.
We have Mystique, Cyclops, Professor X, Magneto, Beast, Nightcrawler, Gambit. So about 7.
Yeah. So not really like, we don't go like a full-on X-Men universe, like multitude of characters. We only have a very, very small group. And obviously, maybe we might see Wolverine in this film. He's not been announced or anything, but we could see
We might
potentially
see
Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Matter of fact, I have a thought that we might see Storm in this film. I think they've been holding out on us.
I think they definitely are holding out on stuff.
They're definitely holding out on some characters, because there's no way this is it. Because Halle Berry did a film with Chris Hemsworth recently, and she literally said to his face during an interview, "Why wasn't I asked to be in Doomsday?" She totally was. You can't have the X-Men without Storm.
No, you really can't.
You really can't. That's such an important character. She's gotta be in this film. I'm sure we'll see more.
There are so many X-Men that is not that I don't like Channing Tatum as Gambit. I think he was fantastic. He's someone that we want to see for a long time. He was cast back in 2014 for a project that
Gambit is still
materialize.
one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time.
Yeah. He's a character that obviously was meant to have his own solo project or be a part of the main X-Men universe when they were doing the Fox films. That didn't materialize. We finally got him in Deadpool and Wolverine. It's I would almost say a bit of fan service, a bit of redemption. He finally got, his chance to play Gambit, and he did brilliantly. Really excited to see him in this film. It is interesting to know if he is just a regular part of this X-Men universe, or if he was part of another universe and then hopped over to this X-Men universe. I think he is going to be a part of this X-Men universe, purely for the fact that he is fighting the Avengers, and as is every other character. So I think he is just going to be a part of this universe from the beginning. Obviously, this X-Men that we see isn't the same X-Men that we've known. It might be the same cast, but it is a completely different universe.
Oh. Monica Rambeau has also jumped into this universe.
Correct.
So they're familiar with the multiverse at this point. The Marvels obviously came out before Deadpool, and I think chronologically it also takes place before Deadpool. So they probably found a way to get a Gambit of some kind, or they're like, oh, here's another person that came from the multiverse. And they probably took him under his wing because he didn't have his own universe. So, man, I think that might be a big hint towards how they're going to explain him being here.
Maybe. They might not even end up explaining it. They might just be like, here's Gambit, he's a mutant, you know him, he's part of his universe. It might not even need to explain it. We shall see.
Might not.
Heck, for all we know, this might not even be the same Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine. Like we said, this is the whole topic point.
Do you think Gambit's going to drop an F-bomb?
I hope so. If there is any character who I think, because it's going to be like a 12 PG movie. It's not going to be rated R.
It's a PG-13 film.
So they'll probably get one F-bomb. If there's one character, in fact, there are two characters, two mutants, in fact, that I feel like could drop the F-bomb, it'd either be Deadpool or Wolverine.
If they're in the film. If they're not in the film, it's got to be Gambit.
I would happily give it to Gambit.
I know my daddy, but I sure as shit shot out of his dick ready.
I'm really glad they give Channing Tatum that chance to play the character, because this was so long, and it felt like it was never going to happen then at one point. So it's almost like a nice redemption
character as well.
Yeah, it was a nice redemption story for him to finally get to play the character.
Yeah,
who knows? This might be enough to finally see, a Gambit. I can imagine it wouldn't be. I don't know if Channing Tatum would stick around to be Gambit in the main MCU. I think they'll want to cast someone a bit younger. Not that I think Channing Tatum is old or anything, but for longevity.
I still think that they're probably going to redo the X-Men after this film. This is probably our big send-off film to all those characters. This and probably Secret Wars if they last that long. This will probably be the big send-off to those characters. For whenever they continue the universe afterwards, they're going to actually introduce their own version of the X-Men and the mutants, probably. So, high likelihood, Channing Tatum Gambit's not going to stay around. I wouldn't be surprised.
I did see today, and you will have to double check with this with me because I could be wrong, but I think Ryan Reynolds did confirm Deadpool 4 is happening. So there's a possibility if we, in all likelihood, if they were going to send those X-Men and Deadpool back to that universe, I don't know, you could do anything with Deadpool. He's a fourth breaking wall character. You can have him pop up in any universe or whatever. He knows he's a fictional character. He can write himself into any scene, whatever. But, if they were to send those back to their own universe and have Deadpool be in that universe, I could totally see Gambit being a part of that, Like, Channing Tatum's Gambit being a part of that, and we'll have a new actor play Gambit later on. But it was still a delight to see Channing Tatum finally get that role he deserves so much.
You know who I would have liked to see in this film? Some kind of Colossus.
I mean,
maybe the Colossus from the Deadpool films. That would have been cool. Because that's the best version of Colossus we've gotten.
They might, like I say, if there are hiding characters, who knows? You might see him. I don't see why specifically you need to hide him. But maybe if it is the same version from the Deadpool that we've seen in films, maybe they're not revealing him because they don't reveal maybe potentially Deadpool's in the film.
Mm-hmm.
That's again speculation. That's not confirmation. I'm just theorizing. What is interesting, and we didn't mention this earlier, and I think it'd be a good talking point now to discuss, is we mentioned, obviously you mentioned The Thing versus Beast, but I mentioned, no, The Thing is off somewhere else. Why are the Avengers split up into two teams? Why are the one group of Avengers going to the X-Men universe, and why isn't there a set team going to, I believe, Wakanda? Why are they divided? What's the reason?
Yeah, because we only saw Sue and Ben with... No, because Johnny wasn't even with the Thunderbolts.
I think he
at
could be. I think
least
he
not
just
when he was
off...
facing the X-Men. At least not when they were facing the X-Men. I think he was with them when they went to Wakanda. So I think Johnny Storm's there.
Yeah.
Speaking of Johnny, that shot of him holding, what was it, Franklin?
Yeah.
So they find Franklin?
I guess they do. I mean, there is the question of, like, why is Johnny holding Franklin? Because he does look very, very devastated. Very
either devastated or very relieved.
Yeah,
one or the other. It's hard to tell.
I do have a theory on that shot, but that is for a separate topic later on. So I won't say it just yet. But one thing I want to know is that in the Fantastic Four film that came out last year, First Steps, Johnny was going to sacrifice himself to save Franklin. He was willing to do that.
Sacrifice type.
Is he? Do you think he'll do something similar to this?
Maybe. I don't think that they'd kill Sue again.
No.
I think it'd be a little bit too random to kill Reed or Ben. So I think the only other person that would, the only person that we've seen try to sacrifice himself, is Johnny. So if any of the Fantastic Four is going to die, which could lead into some future Foundation storyline, because that's spawned because Johnny Storm died. I
will say, I don't think it's too early yet to kill off any permanent members of the Fantastic Four. We've already had one film. This is only the second appearance in the MCU. I think when I say sacrifice himself, I mean he might die, but characters could die and then come back in Secret Wars, multiversal colliding, like that kind of scenario. I mean,
yeah,
it really is interesting to see what they will do with him, or why he's holding Franklin. He's relieved, like, we found you, or is he heartbroken that this might be the last time he's seeing Franklin or something before he has to sacrifice himself in some way? Because he would do anything for that kid. He's a cool uncle.
Dude, Johnny loved Franklin. Yeah, that is something I'm very curious about. And I feel like if there's a sacrifice in this film that I will be really bummed out about, it's probably going to be Johnny Storm. He was my favorite character in Fantastic Four.
He was Silver Surfer to bail him out this time.
No Silver Surfer to build him up this time, but he built himself up pretty reputably in that film, kind of on his own. He kind of solved a lot of it himself. He learned her language, and I'm glad we're finally seeing a version of Johnny that is actually very intelligent.
Do you know what I just realized?
I think I loved about Johnny.
Before we move on to the next topic, I do want to mention something that's actually kind of funny to think about. Captain America, oh sorry, not Captain America, Steve Rogers is on the Fantastic Four ship, right? Johnny Storm meeting Johnny Storm. Because Chris Evans played Johnny Storm in the old Fantastic Four movies,
didn't he? Oh my god, yeah. Wait, what the fuck?
Honestly, dude, I know that
I was like, dude, when I said that, my dumbass said, Killmonger died in Black Panther. I'm thinking of Michael B. Jordan.
Someone completely different from Chris Evans. Could not be more further apart if they tried.
The one Johnny Storm that was not confirmed to be in this film.
But it is funny as well because Chris Evans returned as Johnny Storm in Deadpool Wolverine. He got the axe and killed. Yeah. But then if Deadpool is in this film, he's like, didn't you die? Wait, hold on. Aren't you? Obviously, some fourth wall brick shenanigan. I think they have to.
I'd like, if this did happen, if that did happen, I'd like Deadpool to be the only one doing the Spider-Man meme. He's like, wait. I think that would be like the perfect joke, I think, for Deadpool to make. Is be like, so many differences but similarities. Fourth wall break overload.
They have to acknowledge it in some way. They can't not acknowledge it. If they're going to have characters on the same ship, together, and that one actor's, two characters, the actual character and an actor who has previously played said character, they have to do like some kind of joke. I can imagine Johnny being like, have we met before? You seem familiar. And it's like, no, I don't think so.
Hey, I'm Johnny.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Just a hunch. Like, they have to play on some little joke of that.
I hope they're not afraid to do a little bit of humor. A little bit of humor. Yeah. I hope it's not like the leading charge of this one, because they need to spend a lot of the film making Doom a very menacing threat and definitely telling a good story. But I hope that doesn't mean that they're going to refuse to tell any fun jokes. Which, I mean, they kind of have to. The Thunderbolts are there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they got to be there.
They have to. Well, you mentioned Doom, so you mentioned the big bad of the film, Dr. Doom himself. Like, what's the deal with Doom in this?
We don't know really anything about Doom.
No.
Only thing that we know is that he's being played by RDJ, and he looks fucking amazing. He looks like Dr. Doom. Finally.
It's really interesting.
This is the best look we've gotten already.
Yeah. It's interesting because obviously we spent a lot of time, especially like early, like phase 4, building up the Kang story. Obviously, stuff happened. We weren't going to mention it, but stuff happened. Kang has been scrapped. We've now got Doctor Doom. So they haven't really spent a whole lot of time necessarily building him up. But it is interesting to see what his plan is.
Or is Doom going to open this film on that world with all the Kangs, or end the film with all those Kangs, kill them all, and make it in the battle world?
I really think they could do that. I don't think that Marvel will just be like, let's not pretend the Kang stuff happened. No, you spent a lot of time saying that. It is really interesting to note that they did abandon the Kang stuff, because given the fact there was a multiversal variant of Kang, you could have easily gone another actor to play him. It's really interesting that they went with the route of abandoning that storyline of the Kang dynasty rather than continuing it. But maybe, like we said, maybe the opening in this film will be Doctor Doom taking out the Kangs, and wiping out the Kangs, and Marvel being like, oh, that's that storyline wrapped up. We don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. But what is Doom's plan? He wants Franklin. Franklin is a very, very special kid, a very powerful kid. We know. Does Doom know that the multiverses are like ending? He wants to, create something, or is Doom the reason why the multiverses are ending?
I don't know. I have a feeling with the fact that they're really trying to stop Doom or fight him or even potentially kill him. I have a feeling he's trying to control the multiverse. That's probably what it is.
They're going to have to do some sort of multiversal element, obviously.
But one thing I'm curious about with Doom is, like, how is Ant-Man going to explain Kang to everyone when we're still trying to figure out what's happening with Doom? Because the only one who's really, like, there is someone on the team that knows about Kang, and it's Ant-Man. And Loki.
Yeah.
Like, the two of them are probably going to have an interaction. I wouldn't be surprised. Which is weird. Loki and Ant-Man are going to have a really productive talk. But it's like, how are they going to explain Doom when the obvious threat here should be Kang? Because the Fantastic Four just popped in like, Doom's here, fuck everything. Or are they just going to be like, we have some worries, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It all leads into how they're going to transition from Kang to Doom, how they're going to introduce Doom, how they're going to tell us about Doom, stuff like that.
Can I ask a question? Because I can't quite remember the end. I know the end of season 2 of Loki, where he's holding movies together. Can he see other universes, like into other universes, or is he just holding them all together?
I'm pretty sure he's holding them together. I think he's the one that's steadily keeping the time frame intact.
But
Because
he can't see them.
that was the whole idea of the machine, and like with all the branches and stuff,
Yeah.
things like that. It's like that's what that whole thing was for. And now Loki is the one that's trying to keep it stable. But Doom is probably causing a rift in that's making it very hard to sustain the timeline.
But the reason why I asked is because if Loki could see something happening and he's noticing suddenly all these Kangs, he knows how dangerous Kang is. He's, worked with him, whatever, in season 2 of Loki. He's met Kang and he's seen all these variants of Kang. And I'm wondering, if he can see how much of a threat Kang is, one of the biggest dangers, and suddenly Kang has been wiped out, that's a bigger threat. And if the film starts with, like you said, Doctor Doom wiping out all the Kangs, and then Loki catching wind of that, that's how the film starts.
Probably.
I'm wondering if that's the way.
I have a feeling Loki is going to kick this story off in some way.
Absolutely.
Or Doom's going to make his presence known, Loki's going to feel it, and then he's going to kick everything into action. Along with the help from the Fantastic Four in some way. I don't know. There's so much to do with Doomsday and like the setup of Doom. It's like they have so much stuff to do with setting up Doom as a character and then carrying him on to Secret Wars in the span of these 2 movies. It's like we didn't have much build up for him. We just know that he exists right now. We know that he's out there based on Fantastic Four. And we know that he has Franklin.
Yeah. That's really about it.
That's really about it. That's all we know. So a lot of this film is probably going to be set up for who Doom is. And they're also probably going to utilize this film to tell us the backstory of why Doom looks like Tony Stark. Probably.
Yeah. That has to be a big reason with Doom, because like there has to be a specific reason why you've cast Robert Downey Jr. Yes, you can say, like we mentioned with Chris Evans as Steve Rogers earlier, like, it's nostalgia, like, oh my god, Robert Downey Jr. is back, remember him? But I don't want it to be just a cheap gimmick. Give me a valid reason why, Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom and not just a brand new actor as a big threat.
Yeah.
Give me a reason. Don't cheap it out. We talked about potentially the beginning of the film, but I do want to discuss the potential ending of Doomsday, because I have a speculation that there are some shots in the trailer that I feel are for the ending of Doomsday and how I think this will end. I think the film's going to end with all the multiverses colliding, obviously. I know some people are going, well, yeah, obviously, that's how you get Battle World, whatever. What I mean is, there are 2 shots in the film. Sorry, not in the film, in the trailer. There's one with Professor X and Magneto, where they're looking up and you see like a big world exploding, colliding down with Professor X. I think
probably looking right at an incursion.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the film. But also, I did say speculation where I had a feeling of what I think is happening with Johnny and Franklin. So if you look behind Johnny, there looks like there's something crashing down above him.
And it looks like it does look like what Professor X was looking at, right?
Yeah. Which I imagine, once if it's these 2 universes colliding, but we're seeing it from the perspective of 2 different Earths. One of the MCU Earth, one of the X-Men Earth, and then we'll see a bunch of other Earths also colliding. I think again, the potential leaks and rumors, I think Marvel are definitely holding out of who is in this film. I think we still got a lot more surprises and surprise characters left in store. I think the end of this film is going to be the worlds are colliding, obviously, and I think that's what the shot of Professor X and Magneto and with Johnny Storm is, and Franklin. And I imagine we'll probably get like a bunch of other shots of like other characters that maybe not in the film, just like a quick cameo at the end, looking up, seeing the universe
Probably
colliding.
like a tiny
Yeah,
little montage of other characters from other universes,
yeah. I could
or
totally
just like
see.
other universes getting destroyed even.
I
What
could.
if we see a shot of the fan force stick fucking shattering to pieces? Literally.
I could totally see a scenario where like Kamala, Miss Marvel looking up to the sky, seeing it all colliding down, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, his universe, like he's with Mary Jane, seeing the universe destroying.
Andrew
Because like,
Garfield,
yeah,
Deadpool, if
and it
he's
is
not already a main character.
yeah, but the thing as well, like we were talking about characters we know, we were talking about so many Marvel characters from past universe and past films that could all be involved. With the beauty of the multiverses, you can do whatever. You can have brand new actors play brand new characters that we haven't yet seen from their own universes, be a part of this, setting them up for Secret Wars. I think there's going to be a big montage at the end where all the universes are colliding, and I think the end of the film is going to be like a space shot where you see all the universes blending into one, and I can imagine it cuts to black with like obviously with dramatic music, and then it cuts out, cuts to black, and then that's the film ends, credits roll, and there's no post-credit scene. I think they want to end on a shock value like that.
Maybe.
Kind of similar to what they did in the. So obviously, Doomsday is kind of like what Infinity War is to, Infinity War set up Endgame. Doomsday is going to set up Secret Wars. And I think, obviously, at the end of Infinity War, you had the shock value of half the universe dusting. That was the big shock in the ending of the film. I think this is how this film's going to end. The universe is all colliding. That's the big shocking moment of this film. How it ends, and setting up the Secret Wars.
Yeah.
That is going to be, that's my prediction anyway, and I think that's what those scenes, obviously Marvel tries to trick us with trailers to make it look like scenes may happen a lot earlier in the film, because obviously that shot of Professor X looking up to the universe burning, that's the first thing you see in the trailer.
Easily be the end of the film.
Yeah.
And also just like the shot of like Thor fighting Doom, we can't tell if that's a dream sequence or if that's going to be in the middle of a fight that we're going to see in the film where they're finally duking it out with Doom. Also, one thing I've seen a lot of people talking about, and I've seen a lot of people speculating about, is Thor going to die? Do we think Thor is making out of this film?
There are, I think, 4, like, out of the core Avengers that we know from this original section, Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk, Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye, Chris Hemsworth, for Chris Evans, Captain America, Tony Stark, and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. I don't think Scarlett Johansson's coming back. As much as I would love to see Natasha again, I don't think she's coming back from this.
It's very unlikely.
Yeah. Obviously, they have retired Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. Tony Stark is dead. Steve Rogers is an old man. Obviously, they're bringing back Steve Rogers in this, but we don't know. It could be a completely different universe version of him. We don't know the deal there. And obviously, Robert Downey Jr. isn't Tony Stark. He's Doctor Doom. So out of the 3 then core members, we have Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye, Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk, Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Jeremy Renner, he's been in kind of a lot of hot water recently, a lot of controversies. I could see them Marvel just saying, look, we'll just retire the character, just leave him be. You've given him his ending, you've passed him the bow and arrow to Kate Bishop, now let her be Hawkeye. So I could maybe see a scenario where he doesn't come back because of controversies, but then again, it's Disney, it's Marvel, money talks, whatever. But,
yeah.
Jeremy Renner is a controversial actor. Mark Ruffalo, we know he's going to be in Brand New Day coming out in just a few days, but we don't know what's going to happen afterwards. We haven't seen him involved in any promotional material for Doomsday, so will he show up in this? We don't know. We don't even know what's going to happen to him in Brand New Day. Could be locked up for all we know. So that only leaves then Thor, and Thor's been a major player. He's keep in mind the other 3 members, Hawkeye and Banner, they haven't had, well, they had the Incredible Hulk film in 2008 and they've had the Hawkeye series, but they've not had many big solo projects. Thor's had an entire trilogy. In fact, he's had 4 films, my apologies. And they've teased a potential 5th film with Hercules, was it? That was
Hercules.
Yeah. So I just see the character, I think Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. That's what I see.
Same actor, right?
Yeah, same actor. That's why I think of him. But
yeah,
that was said like 5 years ago. We still haven't had that answered yet. So I don't know if they
5 years ago now.
I don't think it was 5 years ago. It was early though.
I think it was like 4 years ago. It was still quite a bit ago.
So we haven't really followed on that scene. So are they going to do a 4-5? There?
Yeah. One thing I do still want to know. We know that Star-Lord in some capacity is supposed to return. Based on the end of Guardians 3, based on the post-credit, based on it literally saying Star-Lord will return. How? Obviously, he's not going to be in this film. There's no fucking way he's in this film. Unless they find a way to put him in as one of the Avengers. Unlikely, though.
I think
Is
he
he-
could be a part of the montage if he is in the film, like the montage at the end.
Maybe. And I think he's going to be an important character in Secret Wars then. Or at least at some point in between.
Yeah. Or we might not even see the... Because keep in mind, there's a whole new Guardians team put together that we haven't seen, and I don't think we'll see. But they might get a reference to that. I don't know. I really don't. I think, specifically for Doomsday, he'll just be a part of the montage, if that's the way I think it's going to end. I can totally see him... Because he's living on Earth now, isn't he? With his...
With his dad. No, with his grandpa.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I could totally see a scenario with, like, as a bit of a comedic effect, he's in, like, his dressing gown, t-shirts, and some, like underpants, walking out onto his lawn, pick up, like, the morning paper or something, and he looks up and he's seeing the universe gliding, you know? Like, that's how I can imagine in the post-credit scene, like, what's happening. That's about it. Do you know what the biggest mystery I have now? And we mentioned this at the very start. We were both surprised that Marvel dropped this trailer midweek, just before San Diego Comic-Con, one of the biggest Comic-Cons where a lot of these companies show off new stuff, new material. We all thought that they were going to show the trailer off at San Diego Comic-Con, but they've dropped it early. So, big question is, what on earth is Marvel showing at Comic-Con?
What could we possibly get from this? Because we've seen everything we needed to see. We already saw the final trailer, which I haven't watched. I'm choosing not to watch it, for a Brand New Day. We know we could get some stuff for X-Men 97, but we also already just got that trailer as well.
X-Men 97,
we just
Season
got the
2 is
trailer
out,
for Doomsday. Huh?
Season 2 is out now.
Oh yeah, Season 2 is just out. Like,
yeah. Piss poor marketing, Marv.
Fuck.
I haven't seen it either. I didn't realize it was out until the other day. I was like, oh wait, it's
I
out.
forgot it was out. They didn't market it enough, obviously.
No.
I don't know. It's just like there's so much they probably should have kept until Comic-Con to have one of the most insane, like, reveals of all time. It's like, oh, Doomsday trailer. Imagine how cool it would have been to see in San Diego. It's like, it's just so confusing that they dropped it when they did.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll hint towards another phase. Maybe.
We're on phase 7 now.
That would be fucking huge. That'd be huge if they did that. Because phase 6 is obviously supposed to be a really short one. It's supposed to include everything up to Secret Wars.
I imagine that. Because we got a year gap between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So there's definitely room for something to be filmed between them. Or like something to come out between them, I should say. We don't know what. We still got Vision Quest as well, but I think that'll come out before Doomsday.
Right.
We haven't got a trailer for that yet.
Oh, yeah.
We probably get that at Comic-Con. I'd be shocked if we didn't.
Because they did the announcement for it just a little bit ago, and then now they're probably going to actually show some stuff on it.
Yeah. It really is going to be interesting to see what they see. Because I thought the big thing would be Doomsday, but if they've just revealed the trailer, Marvel obviously want to be very secretive about this film. Like, they don't want spoilers, they want shock reactions, they want, like, oh my god, this character's back. So what could they be doing? I mean, is it possible that they might reveal some new characters that we've not yet seen return in the film? Could we see a Chairs reveal part 2 of new actors set to return in this film? Or
maybe they do some crazy reveals.
Yeah. Or are they going to play really secretive and be like, hey guys, you know Doomsday? Yeah, you've seen the trailer, and just say, go watch it now. They might just replay the trailer for the audience. I don't know.
They probably will.
I can't imagine it being that major because they want to keep this film secretive. So maybe they won't really do much. I thought they would go out big for Comic-Con. Maybe they won't go out big as I thought.
Maybe we'll see some more stuff regarding Doomsday. I think we might see maybe some stills of Doom himself. I think we'll potentially... Maybe they'll announce like another character is going to be in it. Maybe they'll probably have the cast come on. Maybe they'll have like Hemsworth, Evans, and RDJ up there at some point. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that they could do, or they could just show more stuff regarding maybe the next chapter. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to look forward to with this universe, and a lot of questions that we still need answered, which hopefully, as the months go by leading up to Doomsday, we have 5 months until Doomsday now?
Yeah, near enough.
That's crazy, isn't it? Within those 5 months, we're gonna get so many answers, or we're gonna be majorly disappointed.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think, you know what's funny? We're getting an Avengers Endgame re-release in cinemas, apparently with 7 minutes of new footage, and also them using it as a teaser for Doomsday in some way. I don't know in what way. I'm not going to go watch the re-release. Like, I've seen it so many times. They've already re-released this film once. I'm not going to see it again. I'll just wait until the footage is online and see the 7 minutes of footage that way. I'm no
I kind of
offense.
want to. I don't think I ever saw Endgame in theaters, so I think I would go see it.
I mean, if you haven't seen an Endgame in cinemas, go see it. If you haven't experienced it, go see it, experience it. I did, so I'm like, I'm alright, you know?
Yeah.
It was a great experience, but I don't need to re-see it again in cinemas. But what's interesting, if they are tying this up with if they are tying Endgame up with Doomsday, can you imagine a San Diego Comic-Con? You know that clip in the end of Endgame when Doctor Strange like, is that everyone? And Wong's like, what, you wanted more? Could you imagine if they played that clip at San Diego Comic-Con, and then revealed a bunch of new characters they had, like Storm, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool? Could you imagine they all rocked up, not rocked up in the scene, obviously, but like they announced them as being part of the film?
Yeah, that'd be fucking crazy.
The crowd would go nuts.
Or an exclusive clip from Doomsday.
Oh, that is a good shout.
We would not be allowed to talk about it if it leaked.
No.
we wouldn't. We would get shot dead.
This channel would be terminated so fast. It's
So
not even
fast.
funny.
We would be killed before we even started, bro. But yeah, I think we have a lot of stuff we're ready to hear from Marvel. I guess you guys will hear more soon as well, and we'll be the first people probably to talk about it. Probably not, but we're gonna try to talk about it as soon as we can.
We'll
stay
be the
tuned
first
for what we have.
Yeah, we'll be the first people to talk about it 3 weeks after everyone else has talked about it. That's what we'll do.
Probably be the last people to talk about it, but
yeah,
I know you're gonna be excited. I know you are. A lot of big things coming for this pod. We hope you guys had a really good time. Stay tuned to what's next. I haven't seen Supergirl yet, but I will
coming
soon.
That's coming in the next few days. Don't worry, guys. We do have a lot to say about it, but I'm very excited for that.
Yes. At the time of recording this, I haven't seen it yet, but not long now. Not long now. I will be seeing it soon. You guys will see our breakdown, our thoughts on it, and you'll also see some more stuff for the pod. We're going to be doing things like, can we talk about it? Like, we're going to be doing like hot takes. We're going to be doing questions and just things that we still want answered. Maybe we'll even think about more questions for Doomsday, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that we have that we want to talk to you guys about. So
we're very excited.
Just stay tuned. Keep your eyes open. We're very excited, and we hope you are as well.
Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. We've had so many ideas, and as time goes on, as the weeks go on, we go like, oh my god, it's a new idea. And obviously, when we get new reveals and new films and new stuff to talk about, we're nerds. We like to talk about it. Heads in the Nerd Corner. And as I mentioned, if we do get something with Marvel at San Diego Comic-Con this week, we probably will talk about it, because we probably want to do a video talking about what is announced, because we're hoping to get a bunch of announcements. San Diego is often the biggest place where these companies announce stuff, so hopefully we'll get a bunch of new announcements, not just Marvel, but also DC and other things as well that we want to talk about. So yeah, definitely stick around on the channel for that. But Force, as always, thank you for sitting down chatting, as always.
Of course.
And for you guys listening, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed this new style now of content from us, a new format. It's obviously, this is the first episode, but hopefully the first of many episodes to come in the future. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Take care. And me and Force will see you guys in the next episode. Good.
Later.
Bye.